Hey, Bianca Logger here with the BLINC weekly newsletter question of the week. So I want to get this one right. I really like this question. It is, how do I navigate a very defensive executive at my company who's not my boss, but is someone I interact with a lot? She makes everything more complicated and difficult for me and my team. What do I do? Okay, I like this one a lot. My hair. I like this one a lot. I feel it deeply in my soul because I've absolutely been here and I feel like other people have too. Okay, so I'll tell my quick story. Years ago, we won't name names. I was at an organization where the sales leader, I had said something to her that was, I think she took it as insulting to her husband's work. I made a comment about what my opinion was of how the department was run, and I didn't think it was run very well. And she didn't like that. So at every move thereafter, she just made sure to undermine me. She just did not want me to succeed. She didn't like me. You know, when somebody doesn't like you, they're argumentative, they're defensive, they can be nasty towards you. And it was just really unpleasant. So I'll tell you at the end of this video what I did to get around that or kind of get around that. This question is great because, again, they're not your direct boss. And so the natural or kind of really maybe traditional advice would be like, oh, go talk to your boss, see if you can get some help. Sure. And that's what I did. That was my first step at first. And it was a mistake. And I'll tell you why it was a mistake. There are a lot of times with executives, allyships. And especially if you're in a corporate situation where there's political motives at hand, or even in startups, these people sometimes are far more allied with each other than they are with you, or that they need that other person for their own support for their own ideas and agendas. So you won't necessarily get the support you need from your boss, but you might. It's really only something that you can decide. The question to ask yourself is, do you trust your boss? And you have to make sure that you really, really, really trust them and have a really special relationship with them. Not because they're going to necessarily gossip behind your back. They might, but it just won't be that helpful. And it'll feel like you want to get something more out of it than you're actually going to get out of it. When I went to my boss, essentially, it was like a gaslighting session of like everything that I'm doing wrong. And it wasn't the executive, it was really me and like my communication skills. And I just knew that wasn't true. So anyway, there was a lot more going on there. Okay, go to your boss if you really, really trust them. And if you don't, or if you're not really sure what the dynamic is between those two, ask someone for advice at your work that you do trust. Okay. Now, this can be really anybody, but be very, very careful that you're not gossiping. Okay. Difference between like a solution oriented or a venting session even is it's about you and your issues and really saying, hey, I'm struggling with this, asking for feedback and asking for solutions. But if you're just going to trash talk this executive, by all means, do that with your family and friends. Okay. We aren't saints here. Like, of course, you're going to like have feelings and emotions and have some things to say about this person. Do that to people outside of work because it doesn't matter who it is. It always comes back to you. Okay, you're going to somebody that you trust and asking for that specific feedback and solutions. But this advice might not lead you anywhere. This person might not have great insight, or, you try things and it just doesn't work. The only thing that you can really do is maneuver around this person. Now, if you work with them a lot, you're not going to be able to avoid them. And that's not really going to work either because you have to be able to get through this. These are difficult situations at work, and we have to learn how to get through difficult situations at work. So what you need to do is control what's on your end. You show up to every single meeting with them extremely prepared, okay? You have the agenda set. You know exactly what you're going to talk about. You even share an agenda ahead of time to make sure everybody in that meeting is on the same page, and you make sure you are prepared with your data, You know your stuff. Have a go-to response, because this person will try to push you off your kilter, throw you off guard, make you look bad by asking something that you would never memorize or know. And just have a really simple, confident response. It's something like, let me look into that deeper so we don't sidetrack the conversation. Just something really short and sweet, right? Professional, you don't have to be rude about it. Just kind of say, I'll get back to you when I have a little bit more time. It's a great deflection, and it helps get you through the moment. In general, one of the very best ways you can maneuver around this person is to speak less. Unfortunately, this person does not want to hear what you have to say, is not going to be supportive of you, is probably going to argue with you. So only say what's absolutely necessary. Stick to the facts. Again, you can do this in a pleasant demeanor, and I encourage you actually to be as pleasant as possible, to be as friendly and opening, and yes, use your smile as best as possible, but don't elaborate. I mean, there's just no reason to kind of continue creating a rapport with them. There is no rapport. So just be nice, be polite, stick to the facts, and get out of that meeting as soon as you can. Another tip is to use a buddy system, a meeting buddy system. This means that try to avoid meetings where it's just you and that person one-on-one. And if they're not your boss, you really probably don't have a lot of meetings where you absolutely need to be just you and them. So invite your boss, invite a colleague, invite anybody else that can help kind of soften the dynamic between the two of you, but also, be a witness if there is anything that's incredibly toxic that happens. Generally, that person will be on their best behavior if there's somebody else in the room. So that kind of helps build you a safety system. And okay, so my last piece of advice is the most important one, and it is what I ended up doing in my situation. Actually twice, honestly. Quit your job. And I don't take that lightly. I don't mean that as like, oh, well, I can't pay my rent, but find your path to make a change. Because if this environment is this toxic and this person is really making your life hell at work, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You're never going to win. And let me tell you something, and please listen closely and clearly. You do not have to prove to that person that you are good enough, you are smart enough, that you are valuable. You don't have to prove that to them. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to know. They have their own insecurities, clearly. So it's not worth your time and energy to prove something to someone who doesn't even want to know what the equation is. Get out of there, move on with your life, and find your true success path. Hope that helps. Again, thank you so much for this question. I love them. Please do submit your questions to the BLINC weekly newsletter. I'll send you the link in the comments. Hope to talk with you soon. Bye, guys.